One of the most relatable problems of life is trying to figure out how to properly value your time. The story of Frieren Beyond Journey's End tackles that same idea. It also focuses on the importance of building strong connections with those around you. Frieren is a fantasy adventure story written by Kanehito Yamada with art by Tsukasa Abe. The anime adaptation quickly became one of the most popular anime in the world. With the release of Season 2, I wanted to look back at Season 1 and see how they were able to create such a fantastic adaptation that many gave deserved praise to. Focusing on volumes 1 through 3, which covers the first 10 episodes, I went back to see how the director of Season 1, Keiichiro Saito, and the studio Madhouse were able to add motion and color to an already fantastic story. Before I break down the things I noticed, here's a brief synopsis to those who might be new to the story. The story follows Frieren, who is an elf who has lived many years before joining the hero's party consisting of Himmel, Aizen, and Heiter. The story begins with the hero's party returning from their journey of defeating the Demon King. The hero Himmel later passes away from old age, and Frieren is then filled with regret. Frieren has lived many years and will live for thousands more. The relationship humans have with time is not the same for Frieren. To her, 100 years is nothing but a small fraction of her life. Because of this, she tends to be cold and distant to those around her. But after Himmel's death, she asks herself why didn't she spend the time to get to know him better. This inspires her to better connect with humans and to value her time more wisely with them. She goes on a new journey, and along the way, Frieren forms a new party. As Frieren basically retraces her steps of the previous journey, she recontextualizes her past with the present, growing as a person and learning more about herself and those around her. The story is known for its beautiful animation consisting of elaborate backgrounds, engaging fight scenes, and its use of montages. The use of montages is also utilized from the original manga, so having seen the anime first, when reading the story, that was the first thing that I wanted to check out. I wanted to see how Keiichiro Saito and Madhouse decided to visually tell this story in their own way and how they were able to do it so successfully. One of the many rules of visual storytelling is to show, don't tell. The creators show us a lot, emphasizing on symbols and themes without affecting the pacing of the story. Of course, reading the manga is quicker than watching, but the story is naturally at a slower, slice-of-life pace to give more focus on the characters and themes. The anime stays true to that. Like I said before, in the beginning of the story, we see the hero's party returning from defeating the Demon King. The king and kingdom thank them and celebrate their return. Thus starts the Era of Peace. While celebrating, the hero's party enjoys the Era meteor shower, which happens every 50 years, to which Frieren nonchalantly says that she knows a better spot to view it. The group then agrees to meet up again in the future to watch it together. When the group goes their separate ways, we get our first montage of Frieren on her journey to collect and research magic spells. The visuals are stunning, and I noticed they added their own scene to this montage, which actually became my favorite shot from episode 1. But that wasn't as surprising as the next time they chose to add visuals to the adaptation, because it added depth to the story. When Frieren returns 50 years later, she meets a Himmel who has grown wrinkly and small, almost unrecognizable to the last time she's seen him. In the anime, when he's getting ready, Himmel is looking at the cloak and sword he used during the journey of killing the Demon King. He's reminiscing on his life and the time spent with the rest of the party. Shortly after, Aizen and Heiter join up with them and they make their way to where they will see the meteor shower. In the manga, the group is shown from a lower perspective, giving focus on the sky. In the anime, they recreate the field that they're on and show a lake that's reflecting the beautiful sky that's also in focus. To me, it seemed that they chose to do this to add emphasis on how Himmel is looking back or reflecting on his life as he's grown older, or maybe also to show emphasis on the sky being a symbol for Himmel. After this, we are at Himmel's funeral after he's passed away from old age. During the establishing shots, we get a shot of the closet that Himmel was looking at before, but now it's empty. The cloak and sword are with Himmel in his casket, marking the official end of his journey. This small adjustment to the story added so much emotional weight to the context and character, which helped fuel the next scene. During the funeral, Frieren is met with her regret. She knows that they only spent 10 years together and that human lives are short, but she regrets not valuing that time better with him. Everything I've covered so far is the first 16 minutes of episode 1. Although in my first viewing I had no connection to Himmel or Frieren, this scene was very effective in making the guilt and sorrow Frieren feels more relatable. Reading and rewatching this scene was extra emotional since I have a stronger connection with the characters after finishing this story. So what stood out to me was the removal of one of the panels of Frieren crying. I noticed they also do this later in the story when Frieren is crying beside Haito as he's grown old and is soon to pass away. I presume they made this choice as to emphasize the growth and change in Frieren, who normally comes off rather cold and distant. Having added or removed visuals, these moments are important. They add so much character development and they show that Frieren does care and she does have a connection with the people around her, even if she's not fully aware of it. Although Frieren is a straightforward story focusing a lot on the human condition and how we connect with people in our lives, the story isn't a depressing one. Filled with comedy, subtle romance, and tense fight scenes, Frieren has a wide range of emotion and complex storytelling for a story that at its core is very simple. So the next thing that I noticed was how they enhanced these aspects with POV shots. After the death of Himmel, Frieren is tricked by a dying Haito to take on an apprentice named Fern, and after training her to the point that she won't get in the way and she can defend herself, they later meet Stark. Stark is an apprentice of Eisen, and he joins Frieren and Fern on their journey. When we meet Stark, it is at a village that has a dragon living nearby. Stark, who is actually a coward, is the reason that the dragon has not attacked the village. He is scared to fight but accepts the responsibility to protect the village because someone has to. Stark can't leave the village without knowing the villagers are safe, so they all team up and plan to kill the dragon. In this scene, we learn more about the strength of Stark and his high potential as a warrior, despite the fact that he'd rather avoid fighting. During this fight is the first time I noticed how they utilize the POV shots in the story. In this high stakes moment with amazing animation and awesome sound, we are shown a shot from within the mouth of the dragon, and then moments later we get another shot as if the camera is mounted on the neck of the dragon. These shots add to the fight scene of course, but they also add to the heroism of Stark, showing the dual sides to his character. This of course isn't the only time they utilize POV shots, but each time they do, they make an already cool scene that much better, while also adding to the depth of the story through visuals. The next POV shots that really stood out to me actually happened at the end of Volume 2 and later within Volume 3. This is when I will give a spoiler warning to those who have not seen Season 1 yet, because these moments are beyond the pilot episodes and involve key aspects to the plot. Towards the end of Volume 2, we are with the Frieren's party in Graf Granite's domain, and the story introduces us to demons, or in other words, monsters who have the ability to speak in order to trick humans. Demons are tactical and merciless. They will do anything and say anything to trick people in order to kill and eat them. Frieren senses demons within the town and aims her staff at them. We learn that the demons within the town are peace envoys sent by Aura the Guillotine to try and negotiate with the Graf so that they can lower the magic wall that surrounds the town. For threatening the peace envoys, Frieren is thrown into the dungeon, and while there, one of the demons, Drat, comes to try and kill her because she is powerful and is a problem for their evil plans. This interaction between Frieren and Drat is the next POV shot that I want to talk about. Drat is overconfident and uses an uncuttable magic wire as his weapon, and he tries to use this to decapitate Frieren. While still calm, Frieren masterfully maneuvers the situation and uses magic to cut off his arm to momentarily free herself. In this moment, we have a POV shot of the spell that cuts off his arm, and after cutting off his other arm, Frieren lands on top of him, holding down his neck. We are shown the perspective of Drat looking up to a menacing Frieren. The conversation and one-sided fight between Drat and Frieren lasts 2 minutes. The POV shots give perspective on how badass she is, but also to the fear the demons have of Frieren. As the title of the episode suggests, we learn that Frieren has a nickname among society as Frieren the Slayer, being the individual who has slain the most demons in human history. Moving along with the story to Volume 3, we later have an amazing battle between Frieren and Lugner, Stark and Linny, followed by the climactic fight between Frieren and Aura the Guillotine. These battles have some POV shots, but the one I'll be focusing on happens at the end of the battle with Frieren and Aura. This scene also includes the final edition of visual storytelling that I'll be focusing on. During the fight with Aura, we learned the biggest lesson that Frieren learned from her master Flamme. When Flamme meets Frieren, the sole survivor at an elf village that was attacked by demons, she teaches Frieren about the mindset of demons and how prideful they are with their magic. She teaches Frieren her technique of hiding and reducing her mana in order to trick demons into thinking that she is weak, which creates an opportunity to catch them off guard and defeat them. Aura gets her nickname from the ability that she uses, which is the Scales of Obedience. She places her and her enemy's souls onto the scales, and the one with more mana tips the scales in their favor. The loser becomes controlled by the winner, unable to deny any request, essentially becoming a puppet even after death until the spell is cancelled. This is how Aura builds an army of soldiers which she uses to try and destroy the town. After she foolishly puts her soul up against Frieren's, she soon learns that Frieren has been tricking her and becomes obedient to Frieren. Frieren has yet another mic drop moment and tells Aura to kill herself. In this moment, when Aura uses a sword to behead herself, we get a POV shot of Aura's head spinning and falling to the ground before seeing Frieren walk away. In the manga, there is a single panel of a POV of Aura before she dies, showing Frieren's back turned away. I love the brutality of this scene and how they were able to add to an already existing POV shot to further the gravity of the scene, as well as to show the power of Frieren. My final point that I want to talk about is a montage that is actually added right before Aura is defeated. After learning the lifelong trick of fooling demons with her mana, there is a scene of the heroes party when they meet Frieren for the first time. Haida believes that Frieren isn't that strong due to the appearance of her mana, but Himmel has a hunch that she is actually a powerful mage. This moment is a mirror to when Frieren says that she has a hunch about Flamme being a powerful mage when they first met, which is why Flamme wanted to take her as an apprentice and why Frieren may have agreed to join Himmel's party. After this moment, we get a series of images in quick succession that show the 10-year journey of defeating the Demon King, which has led Frieren to the present point we're now at. These quick shots are also in the manga, but I really like the choice to have them be quick images than to have them played out like the many other montages. I'm not sure if this was a choice directly made by Keiichiro Saito, or maybe a choice made by him and his team that he usually works with, but the same technique was actually used in another anime directed by Saito, Bocchi the Rock. Right before Bocchi is about to perform at a high school culture festival, we are shown a series of shots representing the journey she took and the progress she made. I really love this addition by Saito because it made the moment that much more memorable, climactic, and created so much depth to the world of Frieren and the characters within it. It had the same effect in Bocchi the Rock. This edition of the montage adds so much to the theme of how we spend our time. In just 2 seconds, we can feel the weight of the moment, as well as see how our characters came to be who they are. Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a story that focuses on the depth of being human and how we value our time within a fantasy world. The story has magic, dragons, elves, dwarves, and the visual storytelling is masterclass and helps ground the world in reality. I recommend this story as a must-watch and a rewatch, and I also recommend picking up the manga. Let me know what you guys think about Frieren from the anime or manga, and don't forget to like and subscribe.